Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. It is 6:45. We are at the Rosewood for our regular December session. We're going to go ahead and get started with a moment of prayer. Peggy Edwards.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to come together tonight. Lord, we ask that you bless this council and this mayor to make good decisions and right decisions for our city. Lord, bless us as we go into a new year and love our city and help us to show exactly how we feel about liberty and how we feel about you. And all these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Rise to the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get into the public session. Deputy Administrator, did we have anybody signed up? No. All right. We'll jump right into the approval of minutes. October 13th regular session. Did you guys all get a chance to look over those in the packet? Do I have a motion to approve as written? October.
I'll make a motion.
And a second? Any discussion? No discussion? All right. All in approval? Raise your right hand and say aye. All right, next up is the October 30th special call session. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yeah. I just confirmed when I came in with Mary that everything is as approved there. Yep. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Next is November 10th regular session. Do I have a motion to approve? And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is there a difference between 6/6 or 6-0 on a vote? Is it just who did it?
It's just either I write 6-0 or 6-6.
But it's always for and against is your nomenclature. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor? All right. December 1st work session minutes. I believe, if I am not incorrect, this is the first of our work session minutes which we're starting to take now. So that is pretty awesome to see. Did you guys get a chance to kind of review those? I know we were all in that session, but Do I have a motion to approve? And a second? Any discussion? All in favor? All right, we are up to new business. We have a couple of these, which are pretty exciting. First readings and resolutions, appointing of new planning commissioner Will Hyatt to the planning board. Did you all get a chance to read his application packet? All right. Do I have a motion to open up discussion?
Make a motion. I'll second.
All right. Any discussion on Will Hyatt?
Very, very good.
I'm sure he's in the audience. Yes. No, not in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah.
I do
I
too.
think that's what we're going to pass.
All right. All in favor? Congratulations. We have another one, an appointing of a new zoning commissioner, William Ted Edwards. Do I have a motion to open discussion?
Motion.
And a second? Any discussion?
So the zoning, that's the BZA, right? It's Board of Zoning Appeals.
Yes.
And this will fill the slate or no? We
I
still
think
have
we're still missing one.
It's big four. Yeah, we're still
It gets us closer to being full.
which is great. Because we're light at 4. So, thank you.
Thank you.
There you go.
When was Ted made a storm water inspector? For the county? Yep. Okay. I didn't know that. I just saw that. Okay. Did you do that?
All in favor? Call for a vote. Congratulations, Ted. Thank you for offering to do this. All right. The third is appointing of a new planning commissioner. He's kind of a returning one. He was on for a while, but off for a while, coming back in. Mr. Bo McDonald. Did you all get a chance to read his application? And can I have a motion to open discussion?
Make a motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right.
Did you see that?
It's okay, now you can vote. Ready? Okay. All in favor?
That's so
That
exciting.
hand's popping up. All right, we'll move right on to the reappointing of Planning Commissioner Hester Elrod. Do I have a motion to open discussion?
Make a motion.
Okay. And a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
But I'll be as long as Steve at some point in time. No, all joking aside, I served with Hester for quite some time, and I do want to recognize her. She's done a superior job with the planning commission. She's open to communication. We've had some of the most fruitful discussions I've heard under this, and I appreciate that.
I can definitely second that. Second what Gerald said. I've been to many of your planning commission sessions, and it's been just a breath of fresh air just watching you interact with the public and just bring things into kind of this more understandable light. It's like the regular person versus kind of the legalese, and I hate to say that, but you definitely bring that to the planning commission. All right, and can I call for a vote? All in favor? All right. Excellent. Those boards and commissions look a lot better now. We'll move right on to appointing a mayor pro tem, because we are without a mayor pro tem currently. I am actually going to nominate John Humphrey for that position. And this is a little new to me, so jump in, Mary, if anything is a little screwy here. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to appoint him as mayor pro tem. She did mention something about I need to also offer the option for other options.
You're nominating him, so you might ask if anybody else wants to nominate somebody.
Any other nominations?
I will say, certainly John, he is the best choice sitting in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's out of detail. He's perfect.
All right. Can I have actually I probably should have done a motion to open up discussion, but we already started talking. So can I get a motion to open discussion? And then we'll just make it really quick. And the second? And we already kind of went through discussion, but do we have any more? All right. All in favor? Congratulations, John. Thanks for filling in. I will all right. No solid promise. We're going to move up to our update to Article 2, Council, Section 2-42, Appearance of Citizens. Now, we kind of covered this in the work session, and we started discussing it, and we left that session with some additional information, and then Mary was also going to look into that and work on putting together some updates for us. Do you have an update for us, Mary? Is it on?
All right, I'll just speak loud. I just kind of want to run through this. I guess the one, I made a difference, just because I put this in there doesn't mean this is what y'all decide on. It's just, I wanted to get y'all something to look at to make certain after listening to you all, hopefully I got what you wanted. As the regular and special called meetings of council, and those are basically meetings that don't have a single issue like an emergency meeting might have. People that can speak are people that live inside the city, who own property inside the city, and who own or operate businesses inside the city. Now, at the work session, I put that any person might speak to council during a public comment session. And also in Section C, I put that they can address matters in a work session that may affect or relate to the community, also in the 29657 zip code, or also visitors to the city, if they wanted to talk about that. I included the section about signing up with the information, if they know the ward, their address and that kind of thing. And I encourage them to submit those sign-ups on or before 4:30 on the Friday, in case the clerk was able to gather any information that council might need, or to answer any questions that she might just be able to answer and they wouldn't need to come to council. But they were still able to sign up until the beginning of the meeting. You don't want people coming up during the meeting. And then in E, I just looked at some general rules about, I just put 3 things in there. That's not something I'm tied to. It's just sort of a common period. They have to address their comments to council, not to staff or to someone sitting in the audience. I put that they shouldn't duplicate the points made by prior speakers, but that's something y'all may want to talk about because I took that out. Is that the one thing?
Yeah, that was something I noted. I think anybody that signs up to speak should be able to talk about what they want to speak about.
See if that came out in the new version. It's not in the, because I'm working from the computer.
done this one. It's taken out of this one.
Okay, good. So I'll just cross that one out. The only thing was I did want everybody, like 40 people, to talk on the same topic and eat up all the time that other people with other issues had. But the mayor wanted to hear from everybody, and that's certainly fair. And then also prohibited vulgar, profane, threatening, defamatory, aggressive, or disruptive behavior and statements. And then finally, they can't come in and advertise, the speaker can't advertise a private business. Because then you have to let all the businesses come in and advertise. I mean, I probably have to leave early and go home and go to bed. So that's basically it. The last thing was the speaker cannot donate their time to someone else. They have to use it themselves. So that one person couldn't collect, 40 different people's time and spend a lot of time. So that's kind of a template that maybe y'all can work with. If you have some changes, I'll scribe them and just let me know.
Do you want to open this up for discussion? Yeah. Okay. Make a motion to open this up for discussion. And a second. Go ahead and jump in. What do you guys think with what we've come up with so far?
On the situation where the 29657 zip code, somewhere in Anderson County, somewhere, is there any way that they have a Liberty mailing address to where it shows up on their mail, Liberty? Can they still speak even though they're in another county? If it shows up as their mailing address, that's Liberty.
Are we speaking about the work sessions or?
No. To try to speak.
Yeah, both council and work session.
I think Liberty just has the one zip code.
Correct.
So either way.
My issue with it was Highway 88, which is in Anderson County, had Liberty addresses and things in the Slabtown area. And I mean, I know they come to Liberty, but I don't know. I think that's stretching it a little bit. That's my opinion.
I thought that we had, basically that was, we put here just that public comment section, and that was only the time that they could actually speak.
During the
It's not like they're going to say their work
Yeah.
session.
And it's during the work session, not the council meeting.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
I can get that.
I'm happy to hear anybody.
Yeah.
We have a lot of 29657 folks that actually utilize our water and sewer that don't live in the cities that get in the outlet.
Well,
I think Seth and Raptor actually person.
yeah, so after that meeting, I actually spoke to some of the audience that works for the city of Liberty, but when it's outside the limits, and it doesn't have a way to speak, so.
Right. Yep, that gives them that ability. And it does remove that 4:30 on Friday. It kind of pushes them to do that still, but like me, I'm always running on the last couple minutes of my Friday, so if they forget and they show up on Monday, that council meeting, they can sign up here and we'll get a sign up sheet put together.
So this is 4:30 only for council meetings, not work sessions.
Either or.
Yeah, it should be either or, yeah. Prefer to sign up 4:30 on Friday, but you may show up at the door and still sign up on the Monday.
Steve made an opportunity to try to ask questions they had.
Yes. Because she had mentioned before, a lot of times when people call in, there's things that she's able to answer quickly, and they don't even need to come on Monday.
I think this checks the box, everything works.
Did we keep the time limit of 30 minutes?
I think we did 3 minutes, 30 max,
I
right?
put in there that council, the total time period may be set in the agenda for each meeting. So that will give you all a little flexibility depending on if a lot of people are wanting to talk or not.
Especially like budget season and stuff like that, there might be a whole bunch of people that sign up to speak.
Where is that in?
Yeah, where does?
That's in A on the first page at the bottom. Because I was thinking that Ben might start getting a feel for, if like 20 people signed up and it's, about 4:30, that she would need to put a little more time on that. Or the mayor might anticipate, that there's going to be more people that wanted to talk. So I left that, I didn't set 30 minutes, although that is a standard time period. But that might vary depending on what you have on the agenda. I think you're right about that.
I have an idea of leaving it open. I think that's a good touch.
But that's limited to people who live in Summit City on property for work. Correct. Operate this.
I would expect we'd probably never get over 30 minutes, but just in case, it's good to have it in there.
Now, I do have a question. If someone outside the city has a concern or they bring something up during the work session and it's something that needs to be addressed by council, would the council member that is closest to them bring that to the board, or how would you do that?
I would think we could probably take down their information, myself, Bailey, and discuss how to best resolve the issue.
Make sure.
Yeah.
Right. All approved.
Yep. All right. I don't think we made any major changes in that. All right. I will go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor of approving the updates to section 2-42, appearance of citizens, raise your right hand. Everybody? That was one of my things I wanted to get back to. Next is updates to Article 2, Council, Section 2-41 agenda. Did you all get a chance to read through this following our work session as well? And if I'm not incorrect, I believe this follows the previous one. Do I have a motion to go ahead and open up discussion? And a second? All right, any discussion? Mary, do you want to do a quiz on this one too?
The first thing kind of parallels what it was before, that any items that council or staff wanted to have on the agenda, they would present those to the mayor at least 48 hours. And if the mayor goes in and puts them on the agenda, then Bailey can publish that in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. The second paragraph basically just follows the law in South Carolina about when you want to add something to the agenda during the meeting. And it talks about the vote that's necessary for that. And that's, I don't think I made anything up in that. That's strictly what the law says. But it spells it out, so at least you all will know if you're in that situation. And the last one was to add an agenda item to a future agenda. Either the mayor can agree to do it if it's something that she feels is appropriate, or the council can vote by majority, simple majority, to add that to the agenda for a future meeting.
Is that to the majority vote of council? Is that to consider, to have the mayor consider to add it to the agenda, or it just gets put on the agenda?
It just adds it to the agenda. And I'm thinking that would probably be a rarer occasion that they would overrule the mayor. But of course, I can't anticipate what kind of issues will come up in the future. So.
Discussion.
Yeah.
So, just to make sure the audience also knows that the 48 hours was 2 business days. So it would be Wednesday for that information to be presented to the mayor. Not Saturday.
And the presentation could be done, it doesn't state how the presentation method needs to be done, just by email, phone, but it doesn't state that. Any other discussion? Well, let me go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor of the updates to section 2-41 agenda, raise your right hand and say aye. All right. Next is updates to Article 2, offenses against the peace, section 3579, amplified sound restrictions. Mary, can you, actually, let me go ahead and do a motion. We'll go ahead and open it up for discussion. Do I have a motion to open it up for discussion?
I'll make a motion.
And second?
Second.
All right.
The first section A, I tried to define some of the terms that are in the proposed ordinance. The most important one would be the one at the bottom of the first page, labeled excessive noise, because it's so hard to list everything that could be an excessive noise. The existing ordinance talks about amplified sound, which I think is, like loud music through an amplifier. But excessive noise can take a bunch of different forms. So I tried to define that, which should help the police in terms of determining when someone's in violation. B is a list of the rules, and basically it says no person or entity shall make, allow to be made, or cause to be made excessive noise. And then it talks about number 2, and this is on page 2 under B, is a list of prohibitions. Now, I put times in there, and I didn't go with daylight saving times for one reason, and that was if you have a contractor or somebody coming into town and doing work, for them to figure out what would apply, they have to keep going back to the ordinance. And, they're not going to do that. They want to come in and put your new roof on, pave your driveway or whatever, and get out there. So what I did was I used sunset for some things, and then I used y'all's original ordinance, I think was 7 a.m. Was your starting time, or 8 a.m. Typically, and then 10:30 at night. I took the 10:30 out. I don't know, I usually see whole times rather than on the half hour. But I'll just run through those. Music would be 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. You couldn't have that. It's plainly audible at your property boundary. So if your neighbor can hear it, the officer can hear it with his naked ears at the property boundary, that would violate that. The question that Mr. Brown, and I think he's submitted a letter to you all, and I'll explain why I did this, but I'm not telling you there's some legal reason for doing it. It's just trying to be a little practical. Was the operation of lawn care and home shops. One of my neighbors has a home shop and uses saws, band saws and stuff. About 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. I realize that children often go to bed earlier than 9 p.m., but at the same time, I've listened to some of the things that you all said about people wanting to come home and do some work. I use 9 p.m. because typically sunset's before 9 p.m., even in the summers. I use 7 a.m. because it can be so hot to do long work in the morning in the summers. But again, I'm not tied to these times. Y'all decide what works best for liberty. Yelling, loud conversations, shouting, singing, whistling, basically party noises. I use 9 p.m. and 8 a.m. for that. There's an exception for schools, churches, hospital, healthcare, nursing facilities, that kind of thing. If they have a sign up that this is where they're located, that's kind of a noise prohibited area. The sound of horns, except for danger or warning signals, that's an issue sometimes. Deliveries was an issue. Deliveries are fine if they're not causing noise, because like when the FedEx guy comes to my house late, or the Amazon Prime or whatever, I don't really hear too much noise. My dog hears it, but I don't hear it. But if they are noisy, that could be an issue. Section C is exceptions for government and emergency services, sirens, ambulances, fire trucks, that kind of thing. It also includes city-sanctioned parades or gatherings, sporting events, like if you're down in the city stadium having a game or something. The next section is construction noises, and it addresses those and allows them from 7 a.m. Monday through Saturday to sunset. And then on Sundays, I put noon to sunset. Again, I'm not tied to those times. Y'all see which is the best fit for y'all. There is an exception if they need it. Sometimes when you pour concrete, you have to kind of work around the delivery of that cement when you're pouring it. And so I put in there that they can ask the police chief for an exception for certain types of deliveries that they can't control what time they come. But they are required to notify the neighbors when that's going to take place, if it's going to be noisy. I addressed fireworks. If y'all don't like the fireworks section, that's up to y'all. I live in an area where apparently every football game involves fireworks, and I have a lot of fireworks noise. So that's up to y'all if you have problems with fireworks. Again, section 4 on page 5 addresses church bells, calls to worship, and set time here from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. for that. And basically, that's it. Those are the major sections, and I'll answer any questions, but again, the time periods, y'all need to look at those and see if they suit what you need.
I do have a question for you. So I had a complaint this week of dogs. It's a boarding or a rescue facility, and they have 30 plus dogs, and they're backed up to like a new subdivision, so to speak. And the barking is throughout the middle of the night, 3 and 4 a.m. And basically they want to know what can they do. I guess you call the city out and make a complaint, but how many times you got to make a complaint before something, I guess, actually happens, so to speak? And what kind of rules can we put in place? Because they have small kids. That whole neighborhood is new, and they've all got small children. So just wanted to ask that question.
I put in section B on page 2, the keeping of the animals or birds that produce frequent or continued excessive noise beyond the boundaries of the property where the animals are kept is not allowed. But that would really be a police issue. I don't want to dodge the issue, but I think the officer responding could make a judgment call as to whether this is a problem and issue a ticket. And then they'll go to court, and if they requested a hearing, and then the judge would determine that. In other cities, you see that, and it's I typically see the judge, they might give you the one ticket, but if the same person comes back again and again with the same problem, then I've seen judges order, you've got to move your facility, or you've got to take your animals inside. There are some, I've seen some of those, not necessarily rescue places, but shelter places where they have indoor-outdoor kennels where the animals are inside at night, but during the day they're outside in the run part of the kennel. So that can be a solution, but it's going to be on a fact-by-fact basis, addressed by the police and by the judge.
What did we have the keeping of animals or birds in the previous one, or is that a newly added section?
That's a new section. Really, y'all was just limited to, I think the first one was something about raucous noise, and the second paragraph was amplified, or second amplified noise.
So I guess another question I would have would be, for instance, like Mr. Brown, after what's the next step if, if there's, let's say, 3 complaints on the same person or whatever, is there another step after that? Is there a fine put in place or?
You have a noise ordinance for dogs that howl and bark.
Right, but I'm asking like for Mr. Brown's situation too. So let's say if I complain on you for making noise and it's my 3rd time complaining, how many complaints until there's like a fine issue or is there anything like that?
That's case by case. I mean, if we're out there frequently and we verify that it's a violation, we'll give them warnings and we'll try and get them to rectify that problem. And if they don't, then we'll issue them citation.
Okay. Thank you.
Out of curiosity, what is the chief's take on this ordinance? Has he reviewed it yet?
I don't think he's reviewed it yet.
Would it
We just got it.
be possible, I'm just asking a question, would it be possible to send it back to the committee after the first vote for tweaking and modification based on some of his comments and some other things? About it, just spend a few minutes in a work session.
What's reasonable for them to think to respond is,
Not putting you on the spot.
Sorry, giving you a little bit more work in your day.
I would love to hear his take on it. Also, get some more feedback from the community.
I was talking about the lawn care, what we discussed last week in the meeting. I know we had it here, or Mary put it here, 7A to 9P. I think for that, I think we could go 7A to 8P. I mean, in the summertime, people are out working late, but in the wintertime, it's pitch dark at 8 o'clock, and I think, no, I think that's too much to go back and forth with the season. I think this is just my opinion that it's reasonable and fair from 7A to 8P any time of the year. That's just my opinion.
My lawn care guys come up like 8 a.m. So I mean, most of the time we're not out in the evenings. I do know some guys run late, and especially in summertime. But I kind of agree to a certain point. Most people are done and over with, and so that'd be.
And I have people in the neighborhoods that are doing things, and it may be dark between 8 and 9, and that's the time that they're available to do that, because by the time they get off work, they're home, they're working to do that. I think that 9 o'clock is a reasonable time. 8 o'clock, I think, is a little early to cut off for lawn cares. Well, I guess the question is, what's the difference between lawn care and music? Because we're going to allow you to turn your music off until 10 p.m., right? But we're going to tell you you can't go out there and blow leaves or do something else only until 8. To me, that doesn't make sense.
Well, I think that we can make a music, that is a little late, personally. I think it could be earlier than 10.
But I think 10 o'clock is a reasonable time on a weekend or something like that, especially if they're going to do that.
Well, I just give a reference. So I live right next to the stadium, and I can assure you they have games at 10 o'clock. And you can hear the score, everything's going on. So, but I can't complain. I live there, so I really can't complain.
And I don't really complain about it. It's been that way for years, and you get used to it if you choose that area to live in. But that comes with it.
I would rather hear lawn care noise or people playing, I guess I'd say music, depending on how vulgar it is or something like that, but versus a howl. I mean, there's a lot of traffic right there, the loud mufflers going by, I would much rather hear you, weed or something like that than hearing in cars with the crazy mufflers going on my house at midnight.
And they do it all. Live on the deal.
Just received a message, commercial lawn care does start in the cemetery at 6 in the morning. Put that. A resident lived nearby
not so much.
So if I could also ask Mary, can we unify the way that we describe the timeframes? Can we either have evening, morning for the prohibited, or morning, evening for the allowed? So I think on some of them we have the allowed time, and some of them we have the prohibited time. So that might be easier for people to read the ordinance.
Okay.
And yeah, you can yell at each other up to 9 p.m. So if you can yell, then you should be able to do something. And what about a concert that's not a city sponsored? What if it's not a city? Let's say that there's something downtown and it's not city related. I'm just, are we tying ourselves just to city things, or are we going to allow? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying.
I think this is mostly residential. That would be just commercial, is that right? Am I reading the right section?
Is this only commercial or residential?
I think it's just residential, right? Or at least this one section.
I think it's individual sections.
You could set up a thing about setting up a permitting process is you got to have somebody to run it. So you either have to assign that to an employee or to the police department. And then you got to say, okay, when are we going to, how late can a set concert facility go? So those are some decisions y'all have to make. But you can certainly do that for non-city sponsored things, like a special events policy, permitting policy.
Fridays in the fall. I mean, the school district is not city sponsored. So it is a separate entity that if they're playing a football game, you can hear them outside of their property boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Whether we have the jurisdiction to control what the school district does, that's something I'd have to look into on that one. Usually those games, the Friday night games, are over.
Should be past 10 o'clock.
Kids.
Could be past 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So currently, I handle the special events permit, and we all collaboratively handle it together. So I start the process, and it typically goes to the chief, then it goes to Katie, and everybody that's associated with the event. And one requirement I always ask is we follow the noise ordinance, and we always have them clean up by hand. So if y'all change that in the noise ordinance, we will change the way the special event permit is listed.
So if you, I mean, like, I know the Pickett Speedway, and it was up the road, TRC, they all have, Anderson have to be cut off, I think, at midnight, for residents and stuff. So then you could put that in there if you're going to have a concert or something that has to be used, has to be out by a set time.
So you would have that listed on the permit, right?
Correct.
It's 10 p.m. currently.
Concerts, I mean,
There's still the channel.
I know it. I mean, that is downtown, mostly. I live on most of that. And less people live right there in that, those couple blocks. But I think they're used to it. I think so too. And I mean, going back to YouTube's list. Yeah, you don't even hear you.
Push you to sleep. It pushes you to sleep.
I don't know.
you could definitely have a different requirement for commercial areas. I did put that in there because I don't think you have to kind of, like in Clemson, the way I wrote it for the bars was that they could, a lot of them have those outdoor music areas on the roofs and stuff. And so I put it so that, there's just no way you can confine them to the boundary of that. And they don't want to because they want to attract people to come in and use their, buy beer and whatever. So I put it at the commercial boundary. So if you could hear it in a neighboring neighborhood, then you could turn it down. That it had to be bound by a commercial So if you wanted to set a different time period or a different requirement, you could expand it for commercial music. But see, I don't know where your normal special events take place.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a commercial pool.
Yeah, right there in the center.
Isn't it
And maybe at the stadium.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what probably I would think on the river products, because they have events downtown, so that core district probably has a different time, I think, than if you were out somewhere more
In the residential area. Yeah.
It only says the city of Liberty, it doesn't say residential.
Yes.
So, yeah, that could be done. I just want to say that what we have is not work.
As opposed to the core.
Yeah.
Commercial part of it.
It might be broken out.
Yeah.
I'd also like to change the construction. Just my view on page 4, construction item B, I think that should be eliminated on vacation, say Sunday, Monday through Sunday. I understand the point. I got you, but I can ring the bells, but I can't do my work. That's 7 o'clock.
I kind of agree, because again, I have a church behind me, and you get the bells from 7 to about 10 on Sunday mornings.
Now, you could divide that among the residential and commercial areas too, because if I'm living next door to a house that's being built, you know how loud that can be. But this is you want to do that. If you want me to apply that everywhere, we can certainly do that.
It needs to be broken out better. Yeah.
That's something we get chief away on for us as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So now do we
I love your chief's take on something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what you may want to do is, you can have your first reading and then you can tweak it if you do it that way. But it might be more clear if you tabled it, or actually use the word postpone. Table has to be taken up in the next meeting.
It might take a little more than that.
But we could push this to the first board session in January. But in the meantime, I do have a copy for you. When you're ready.
Susan, we'll just postpone this discussion.
You should ask for a motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone this discussion.
Can I finish discussion?
You may. Sorry, I thought you were.
So on sounding of horns or sirens, that means never ever. You can't have a siren or a horn ever inside the city. That's it, right?
With the exception of emergency vehicles.
Emergency, yeah. So you can't, if you just think that there's training your dog, you might use a air horn or a loud sound that sounds like air horn.
That brings it into, is it frequent enough to interfere with your neighbor's quiet enjoyment of their property? I think that falls under the excessive noise section.
Okay.
Because I don't think, the air horn, I don't think of as really a vehicle horn or a siren. I think of it more as something, of course you might use it at football games too. So.
Right. No, but that answers the question. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. As chairman.
I know you have. I'm taking
On page 2, section F, it does say sounding of horn siren, whether it be legal or not, except for the danger of lifting or not up. Honking someone to the club from you, that's not a warning. That seems like it should be allowed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, vehicles, okay.
We're going to make a motion to postpone discussion on ordinance, section 3579 amplified sound restrictions. Do I guess raise your right hand and say aye if you agree to that? Okay, we are doing it.
And then the
Motion to postpone.
Okay.
Can I have a motion to postpone? Who made the motion?
John did, I think.
John.
And you say,
And I need a second. Yeah, we're going to mess that up. Alright. Yep. And now can I have a vote? All those in favor? Raise your right hand and say aye. Postpone. February. Because January we have mass. So it'll probably be February. Yeah. All right, we are up to the city and financial report. Deputy Administrator.
I apologize. The same lengthy one, I tried to get it to you guys earlier, that way y'all can look at it and ask me questions. Business license renewal will be sent out the first week in January. Katie is updating the website daily. If you notice anything that is outdated, please email her at ksidemore@libertysc.com. She has also worked on adding a map of licensed businesses to the website and hopes to have it completed by January. Katie created a breakdown of all the streets and wards to make it easier for residents to identify the council member. As a reminder, at-large council members represent all of the city of the representatives or residents. The fifth newsletter will be sent out the week before Christmas, and volume 6 will be released around May. Moving forward, residential trash collection schedule reminders will be sent out as a push notification via the Liberty South Carolina app, on social media, and on live feed on the website. If you have not already, please download the Liberty SC app to stay informed of city businesses, and be sure to allow push notifications to city business, and to stay updated on the latest city news. Sierra and staff did an excellent job with the tree lighting and the Holly Valley Christmas parade. Shout out to Liberty First Baptist for providing the sourdough cookies. They were delicious, by the way. And Stephen Sanders with Legacy Home Recovery for emceeing for the tree lighting and the parade. Sierra is now working with Mayor Wagner to set up dates for the 150th year event and is reaching out to local businesses about sponsorship opportunities. If anyone is interested, please make sure to reach out to Sierra. Sierra is also continuing to plan the second annual South Carolina Waffle Festival, which is scheduled for March 21st, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Volunteers are needed, so if anyone is interested, make sure to email events@libertysc.com. Beginning next month and continuing through mid-April, Sierra will be taking on Katie's responsibilities while she is on maternity leave. This includes business license renewals, hospitality tax processing, and website updates on social media posting. 2026 residential trash schedule will be made available to the public tomorrow on the city website. If you would like to have a copy printed for you, please request one from City Hall. Below is the holiday hours for Christmas and New Year, just so everyone is aware. We are closed the full week of Christmas due to short staff. Most staff take the staff week off anyway, and it's one of the perks we try to get to our employees. We are closed at noon for New Year's Eve, and then we are closed New Year's Day. And then I added in here, I forgot to add this, we are still working on our audit with Love Bailey, and hopefully we'll have that done in the next week or two. For our public works and utilities, once the holidays have passed, staff has been instructed to move forward with recent equipment to remove the dirt in the flower bed. This will allow the business owner to repair the wall on the building due to the water flow issues, and afterwards the dirt will be replaced. We will notify the public in advance to plan and host a community day to help relocate or temporarily remove any plants or flowers that may be having risk for damage. Staff has been working hard to repair and refurbish the existing equipment stored in the shed. Any items that are no longer unusable or no longer serving a purpose, we will either discard or place in a separate pile to present to staff to potentially sell. Staff would like to remind the community that as temperatures drop, it's important to cover your outside faucets. When temperatures fall below 20 degrees, please leave your inside faucets dripping Crafter Academy to help prevent freezing. I had a constituent reach out to me, Councilmember Humphrey and Councilmember Pulley, regarding the speed bumps from Alta Vista. As you know, Traffic Squad is coming to Liberty with a projected groundbreaking hopefully at the beginning of the year. Due to the anticipated increase of traffic flow at that intersection, citizens are concerned about the additional flow that might impact their Alta Vista. I've obtained quotes, which I've presented to you in that packet at back, for speed bumps, and I've notified our public works team. We have been coordinating with FCDOT as well as the county to ensure compliance with all regulations. Since this is the first time we put speed bumps in my tenure, we want to make sure every detail is carefully reviewed and properly addressed, and we're hoping that we can kind of help give us some guidance. We don't have an ordinance that goes through with speed bumps, so right now we're kind of basing it off of theirs. For the recreation, the Little League baseball lighting for Island Field and the water tower lighting will begin in January 2026. Lights have been ordered, so that's about the time frame they'll come in. Payment of the football field house has been approved, and the date for that will be determined. We're gathering more information for the sign at Rosewood. We've cleaned and removed items from the Rosewood basement and back room. If you'd like to go down there, you're more than happy to. I just don't suggest it's a little scary down there. We waxed the city gym floor. We've gathered information on the window sills for the baseball field at the Park now. We have 2 new sponsorships. We maintain all of our parks and recreation ground facilities. The slide at Freedom Park needs to be fixed. We need to get that slide fixed. We've had no rentals for the stadium this month. We had 4 rentals for the Rotary Center for the annual pet back. 1 rental on the Avenue, and then 2 city gym rentals. No rentals at the baseball field, and then we have 1 person rent OTO. The 1 mile loop in the cemetery is still being maintained. The National Fitness Campaign update. The best location for a fitness court would be inside the city gym. We'll have another meeting about cost and how to obtain funds for that project, and we'll update you on that as soon as we go through that. The Wildlife Handicap Wheelchair Accessible Swing, they have gave us an update. They're wanting to use the airport park. December 13th, a statewide all-star football championship game was held at the LHS Stadium. And then just a little update for you guys. The proposed 26 rec funds were going to be replacement for either all the other fields lighting and possibly a new playground equipment if possible, and then fix the net for the baseball field. So we'll just have to see if we get approved for that, how much, and how to move forward with that. For the police department, we've issued 146 warnings, 170 citations, and we've had 10 arrests. And I listed them all out for you, but I'm not going to remember anybody. If anybody wants to see it, let me know. For the police community and events, they had their Stop with the Cop and Other Heroes fundraiser. During November, the officers participated in several bucket drives to raise funds for the annual Stop with the Cop and Other Heroes program. These fundraising efforts are essential to ensure children in need can enjoy a joyful and memorable Christmas. Thanks to the generosity of our community and the commitment of our officers, we are able to provide meaningful holiday support to our families facing hardship during the season. This program continues to strengthen community relationships and reflects our department's ongoing commitment to serving and supporting the residents of Liberty. The Liberty High School Band State Championship was escorted on November 1st, 2025, so the Liberty Police Department assisted with the LHS Band with an escort as they traveled to their state championship. This effort reflected our ongoing support for local student organizations and our commitment to community engagement. The Municipal Association annual banquet for Officer of the Year on November 17, 2025, Officer Dominique Barico was formally recognized as our 2025 Liberty Officer of the Year. This award highlights the officer's exceptional dedication, professionalism, and ongoing commitment to serving the Liberty community. We are proud of his achievement and appreciate the continued hard work Officer Barico demonstrates. Conference on Commerce on November 22, 2025, officers set up barricades close to Commerce Street to ensure safe and secure environment for the event. Liberty High School Cheer Team Escort on November 22, 2025, the Liberty Police Department provided an escort for the Liberty High School Cheer Team. as they departed for their state championship. This escort served as a show of support and encouragement for the team as they represented our community at state level. The tree lighting ceremony on November 28, 2025, officers walked the roadway and set up barricades to ensure a safe environment for the community as they celebrated the annual tree lighting and welcomed Santa Claus. Christmas parade on November 29, 2025, officers set up barricades to close streets to ensure the safety of everyone involved in the Holly Jolly Christmas parade, including Santa Claus. The parade participants handed out candy and attendees. Their efforts created a secure and festive environment for the community to celebrate the holiday season together. For our finances, please see the attached September finance report from Greenfinny. They are currently wrapping up October and moving into November. They've been solid behind due to the audit process and year-out closeout. As a reminder, our reports are typically 1, sometimes 2 months behind, depending on the alignment of our next council meeting. To simplify everything that is in that report, our profit and loss fund for September 2025. The general fund had a net loss of $19,585 for September 2025. Year to date, we have a net loss of $5,641 for the general fund. For utility fund, we have a net income of $8,259 for September 2025 and a year-to-date income of $73,243. For hospitality fund, we have an income of $11,749 for September and a year-to-date income of $15,164 through the debt and utility and hospitality. And for victim services, we have a loss of $330 for September and year-to-date we have a loss of $1,185. Now we have another fund, which we have a positive $1,000 and a year-to-date balance of $1,000. And I have made a note to ask them for more information on exactly what that is. As for September 2025, our bank balance was $3,075,105.25. The city experienced an overall net loss of $1,715 for the month of September. The city is 1/3 of the way through the fiscal year budget year. A helpful benchmark at this point is to compare the budget to actual progress of 75% of the budget remaining to consider to be on target. For revenues, we are at 75.45, which is on budget. For general fund revenue, we're at 78.98, which is slightly below target. Utility fund revenue remaining is at 70.42, which we're ahead for revenue collection. Hospitality tax, we're at 74.33, which we're right on target. For expenses, overall expenses remaining is 74.76%, which aligns with that 75 benchmark. General fund expenses are at 73.71. We're slightly ahead on pace for expenses. And then utility, we are remaining on target at 75.71%. So we're really good with our expenses. Overall revenues are exceeding budget by approximately 3.5K, while expenses are over budget by approximately $80,000 per fiscal year. The utility fund continues to perform well with a year-to-date income of $73,243. Additional notes to remember is like many municipalities, the City of Liberty experiences a cyclical revenue pattern throughout the fiscal year. Certain months yield limited income that may not fully recover with expenses, while other months generate substantial revenue through property taxes, business licenses, and annual service fees. These influxes help balance the leaner months. The city is now entering a period where significant property tax payments are expected, which should begin helping to offset those months we're behind. I did hand you Clearwater's report. I'm going to go through that one. It's the blue one. The first page, they've been working on helping our public works crew organize the warehouse. You can see before and after pictures, which is huge. The third page, they've implemented a work order system called Maintain with an X. This system is being used to delegate and update crews for constant communication. They're working on loading in assets throughout the city, and they have preventative maintenance tasks specifically tailored for the city of Liberty and loading into their system. This is a huge improvement for the city. The next page, they've regained access to our city field map application, so they no longer have to carry around paper maps. We have it all digital now, which is huge for our guys. They've completed several dozen lead service line inspections. We still got a ton more to go to get started on those. Crews completed safety training for October and November. They installed flush points at residents with poor water quality at termination of 2-inch lines. Completed all lift station inspections, 73 lift stations 1 time a week. They began repainting some of the hydrants that was not able to get to a Councilmember Massey. And then they did ask if you had a list, Councilmember Massey, of the hydrants that you have painted.
All that was turned over to the county.
Okay, the county has it? Okay, that next page here, repaired a 20-inch main transmission line with pictures of the boring crew that's coming for new fiber. It's a 20-inch line, and they jumped right in, as well as our public works crew, to learn and see what was going on, and they were able to get that fixed within 24 hours. They completed inspections of altitude valve and tank target boards to ensure tank level pressure correlated with the targeted board. They repaired 6-inch AC lines near ACI Plastics. They did a sewer in problematic areas and completed various work orders and utility locations. For meter reading, they completed the read for the drive-by meters, manual reads, and rereads. They've worked with customers to daily log meters and troubleshoot consumption issues. They've uploaded tablets for meter reading and troubleshooted as software is upgraded, working on replacement of key commercial meters. I've gone a lot at you guys. Do you have any questions for me? I do.
Tudor also has a book, the list of all the hydrants, the years, the pressure testing, everything that was done on the hydrants.
Okay.
That was turned over to Tudor before y'all scoring for your stores.
Okay.
If we ever part ways with Clearwater in the future, this might be something for future discussion, are they going to allow us to keep the work order management system? Is that something that's proprietary to them, or are we going to be able to keep that and use it continuously?
That would be something I have to ask. I'm glad they would hand that over to us because our goal was to get them to start implementing some of these things. So eventually our guys can come over and take that on themselves.
I just have one more question. On the profit and loss, you said we were about $80,000 over budget at this moment. Can you pinpoint anything that's caused that over the last couple months?
We have had, as you know, for general fund, we've had to replace a lot of our maintenance over there. None of our vehicles have been serviced or updated. So that was something we initially did not budget for. So we're trying to move around to make sure that they're took care of, they got to have it. As well as our trash truck, we haven't been able to use it because it needs to be fixed. So we went ahead and tried to get that troubleshooted instead. No, that's not all 80,000. Okay. But I know that's off the top of my head. Yes, that's definitely not all 80,000, but I do know that off the top of my head. And for general fund, there's been some rec expenses that have been over what some of their lines was.
I want to ask a question. This is a better question. The repairs, who's doing the repairs?
I would have to ask you guys. So some of them are in-house, like at the parks, but when it comes to our lines and stuff, I believe they've been getting post reminders. They can use Lewis outside of city limits as well as Edmonds. So they're kind of trying to price match surrounding areas.
How is that something that you could get those to see what was spent maintenance wise?
I can ask them for one spreadsheet, kind of what they were replacing.
Yeah, if we've been spending the money, I'd like to see a receipt on what we've been actually spent, so we know what's been repaired. So if there are issues, let's say alignment, if it was done, then next week they're complaining saying it needs to be done again, then that shouldn't be reoccurring.
I think that's a good idea.
We'll go ahead and jump into city council comments. Mikhail Canley.
Yes, I do have one here. A lady in my ward reached out to me in October when I was running for city council and asked if I would help her with the cats in the neighborhood on Martin Court. Kittens were getting run over and the population's getting out of control. And they're hanging out around her house. So on Saturday, November 15th, I met with Amber Elbaum of Cats Garage Rescue to donate and asked that she help me trap cats in that neighborhood. She did scope it out later that week and tried to make contact with a homeowner who seemed to be feeding the cats across the lady that contacted me. She was not home, but I plan to follow up trying to make contact with her and ask permission to trap neuter and return the cats to stop the population from getting out of control and get them vaccinated for rabies. It is something we need permission for. And I also plan to meet with her following Sunday to TNR and help with that and be part of that process. Another thing that's on my agenda for the month is several people who Ward 1 have reached out to me about the lumber company that's currently sitting in the mill on D Street, and I want to reach out to the owner. I'm going to look back at, try to find the owner, see if we can work something out to start a process to getting it cleaned up, see if we can find an agreement to begin that. That's all.
Thank you. Gerald Wilson.
Yes, I'll start off actually tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, mine on here so that everybody know tonight on the meeting I stopped at the store, just as a footnote for Deputy Administrator, south of Azalea Street, if there's a possibility to give an update and maybe push it out. We had a citizen in Ward 2 ask about that tonight. I'd also like to I think we got Mr. Bo McDonald here tonight. He had a ribbon cutting last week. I really enjoyed that. I want to thank him, Pendleton Candy Company, the Emporium. They had a great event last Wednesday. We had people milling around downtown. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. I had a long conversation with the owner of Pendleton Candy Company, and I'm sure the mayor may touch on this. I'm going to back off if she is going to touch on it. Okay. But they actually are featured in Southern Living Magazine this month. For the second year in a row, the best candy store in South Carolina. She actually told me on the side note that the liquor store is actually outperforming the Pendleton store right now, which I think is wonderful. That's great. The concerts on Commerce, went downtown there. It was wonderful. We had people bumping into everybody. It was great. A wonderful thing. I also want to briefly update our Ward 2 constituents. During the campaign, we got a knock on doors. I had a lot of people give me some suggestions and comments on things they'd like to see addressed. I passed those on to the former mayor. I'm going to go back out over the next couple of weeks and see which ones have been addressed, which ones haven't. I'm going to bring them back to Mayor Wagner to kind of, so if you see me out and about in Ward 2, I'm just kind of following up on some of the issues that you gave me. And finally, I do want to wish our staff, our council members, and the public a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bo Cooley.
Yes, I would like to piggy off of the Christmas parade. We were in it. I think it was a great night. As always, one of my favorite events. I did have a few people in my ward reach out to me. I had Elise, her last name is Eggert. I might say that wrong. She reached out about the dogs. I've been working with her. I've actually talked to Pickens County, the animal director, trying to figure out what we can actually do to help her. She complains about basically not getting any response from the city. Then I had another, Mr. Matt Stewart, who reached out over a sewer issue, which I passed along to Bailey, and I think we've got that resolved, working on it. So I just want to, again, they had issues that hadn't been responded, so I'm hoping that we can speed that up. And just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I look forward to the New Year with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff Massey.
I have one for Bailey. A while back, we had talked about the hot water heaters at the rec park. Did we ever get that resolved, or Was the boiler still usable, or was it just had to be replaced?
So from my understanding, it's all going to have to be replaced. We did have EPA look at that. Now, we do have hot water heaters at Neil's Gym. So if there's ever like an emergency, we can have everyone go to Neil's Gym. There is showers that work and have hot water there.
So they do have hot water now?
Yes, sir.
They didn't have it before, but they have it now. That's what I did. That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you. John Humphrey?
Okay, so the speed bumps, I'd like to thank Bailey on the work that you've done on that, because I hear about that often. The gentleman is asking about that. Mr. Charles, I know him fairly well. I did want to also mention that the speed limit sign and the curve sign that is in our neighborhood, I brought a picture for you, but that's something that, because I don't think we have speed limit signs on that Alta Vista on both sides of that. So if we're going to put speed bumps, we probably have to have speed limit signs on both sides. It's probably one of those things that's in your list of requirements. But thanks for having that information and being well prepared for that. I appreciate that. West Front Street, the bottom of the hill, I brought that up to a council meeting earlier. It was actually in the minutes. And I think we haven't taken a look at that yet, so maybe we can get that taken a look at. There's both sides are questionable. And the staff did a great job with the tree lighting and the parade. That was wonderful. 2 wonderful events. It was great to see people downtown, like Gerald was saying about the other event that would happen last Wednesday. Again, people were downtown. They were milling around. They were having a good time in Liberty. It was really nice to see. The parade, great turnout. People enjoyed it. Thank goodness the weather was good. And so that was great. I just wanted to make a note about the staff doing such a great job with that and putting everything together. I appreciate that. A question about that, are they going to will the staff do a post-mortem on that event? Do you guys do post-mortems on events to kind of say, okay, this is what went well, let's do this again, this didn't quite go so well, maybe we can do this different? Just continuous improvement stuff. My guess is you do that stuff, but I don't know.
We used to do like a recap. Usually afterwards, kind of what things we can do better, what things we can change. Usually it's like a week afterwards, kind of like, debrief for a minute, but yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. And then we have the wreaths. Is there wreaths across America? You're going to have that?
Yep.
Okay, I'll leave that to you. I want to talk about that. And then a question about the time change. Are we going to permanently change the time for the meeting? It's just 6:45.
Correct.
If so, then we need to make sure we get everything up.
I just saw that today.
Thank you. And Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Rhonda Whitaker?
I just wanted to update everyone on the Liberty Community Scholarship Program that we have. I've spoken about it in the past. But tomorrow, Arnold's in Liberty is having a fundraiser, and a percentage of everything sold that day or tomorrow will go towards the scholarship fund. And this is just for students at Liberty High School. And it's a very good program. They have received a new scholarship totaling $1,500, which will be available to Liberty High School students that will be going to Tri-County Tech. So, I think it's a good thing. And so if you get a chance to get out and go to Arnold's and support the scholarship fund. And that's all I have. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and jump into the mayor's announcements. My first set of these. Myself and council members Cantley, Wilson, Humphrey, and Cooley were sworn in on December 1st in a beautiful swearing-in ceremony. Welcome to all of you. This also included many members of our families. During the swearing-in, each new and old council member gave a 1 to 2 minute speech on their commitment to liberty and why they ran in the steps ahead. I am honored as your mayor to serve with each of these new and old council members as we work to revitalize Liberty and make it a place we are all proud to call home. A huge thank you to Zach Arms and LeVanne Padgett for being at the event as outgoing council members to hand off to the new council members. This sort of collaboration and setting aside of your positions and self, I think, is for the betterment of Liberty and what will help us to grow and stay strong. On December 2nd, the Pickens Regional Joint Water Authority provided a presentation for myself and council on the status of the project, cost, and timeline. As your mayor, I will always strive to provide you with the most information I possibly can on anything that would affect you and that bottom dollar. During this presentation, they offered maps of the project as well as a detailed breakdown of the budget, current and future. Liberty High School is collecting unwrapped toys currently for the U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots program until December 10th. If you would like to donate, the collection box is in the front office of the high school. I did also want to make a little note here that our outgoing mayor on November 20th, Erica Woods, gifted the City of Liberty a 150th anniversary design for use as a symbol of celebration, gratitude, and vision. If you would like to view this design, you can do so on her social media page. This Saturday, Council and I will be participating in the Reefs Across America ceremony at Liberty Memorial Gardens at noon. The public is welcome to attend, and I'd love to see all of you there. Since this is the last council session of the year, I did also want to express my well wishes to you and your families as we enter this holiday season. I hope you are all able to spend time with those people that you love, the special people in your life. And that is it. We are going to go ahead and enter executive session. And this is for the discussion of negotiations, incident to proposed contractual arrangements, and receipt of legal advice, settlement of legal claims, discussions of public agencies, provision in adversary situations, and discussion of security protocol, personnel, or devices. Don't think I got all that in there. Do I have a motion to enter executive session? And a second? All right. Oh, all in favor, goodness. All in favor? I'm learning that. All right, we'll have all of you go ahead and speak out. You can go down into the auditorium, and we'll let you know